My name is Grandmaster Ben Finegold. Ben is my middle name, obviously. And I wanted to show you a couple of games I played yesterday. In fact, the tournament that I'm playing in is going on right now. But instead of playing in the tournament, I'm lecturing to you because that's more fun. Okay, now, this was my second round game. And I had the black pieces, so I got to do some weird stuff. There we go. Was that weird? Okay, now, in this game, we played my favorite opening and my favorite pizza. So what's that? It's my favorite opening and pizza. Sicilian, very good. Okay, and we got our knights out. Now, the open Sicilian is the most common. That's with d4. My opponent played d4 later. He played it when he felt like it. He developed his bishop so he could castle. Or, as they say in the previous class, what's castling? Okay, and I played e6 and he castled. And then I got my knight out. Now, who's played Bug House before? If you've played Bug House, the correct move is for white to put a knight on d6 checkmate. But this isn't Bug House, this is real life. So my opponent played an unusual move. I've had people play c3, and rook e1, and knight c3, and b3. But my opponent played the sixth most common move. I've never faced that before, so I started crying. He played d4. His pawns are in the center. That's not fair, because I'm his opponent. So I took his pawn. Did he take it with the knight or the queen? For the 1 o'clock class, that's too hard. No, queen sacrifice. No, okay, he took with the knight, right. Okay, all right, who's the quietest? We have a prize for that. All right, I played queen b6, and I got two guys attacking his knight. But he saw it, and he played knight takes knight, and now I have so many captures, I was confused. I could take, this is one capture, another one, another one, another one, and another one. Although the last one's pretty bad. I could also take his pawn on f2, very good. I didn't see that one. Okay, so I took with the d pawn, which is unusual, but my computer likes it. He saved his bishop, and I put my pawn in, I put knight g6, so my bishop could get out. Okay, now in this position, in my opinion, white should move his knight to d2, then he could play knight c4 attacking my queen. But instead he played knight c3, and now his knight can't go anywhere. And my queen can stay here. So I played e5 in the center. Now, my opponent played a move, but he didn't know why. Then I told him why, and he was like, oh yeah. So I thought my opponent wanted to develop his bishop, but then he would lose a pawn. So he played the move a3, pawn to a3. And I thought he was going to play bishop e3 next move. And he was like, but what if you take my pawn? And I said, then you trap my queen. And he said, oh. And the reason that my queen's trapped is because he played a3. Now I can't play queen b4, and I can't play queen a3. So would I have taken his pawn and lost my queen? No. I would have just played queen c7. Okay, but he didn't play bishop e3. He made what's called an anti-positional move. It's a move that weakens everything. So if we go to the beginning, does anybody here play b4 on move 1? Is Kokomo here? No? Right, nobody does, because that's a strange move. But my opponent played b4 in this position when it was also strange. Okay, because now nothing is protecting the knight, and the white squares are all weak, and so forth. Okay, so I castled, because that's what I do. And my opponent thought I was going to play bishop e6 next move, and the reason he thought that is because it's true. So he played bishop c4. He wanted to mess my pawns up. And I was like, I want to go bishop here, but if you take, I don't want to take with my pawn and mess my pawns up. So I played knight f4, so my knight's protecting. Right in front of the camera? Good job. All right, now my opponent attacked my queen, but I sacrificed my queen, right? No, no, no. Okay, move my queen. He moved his queen, and I played A5. Now I'm attacking his pawn. Hooray!
What?
Yeah. Okay, now after the game, my opponent was like, I played this rook here defending my pawn. Should I have played the other rook? The answer is no. If he plays the other rook, now this rook is overworked. After we trade pawns, I can trade rooks. And now there's no rook on his pawn, so free pawn. So he actually played the right move. He defended with his other rook. And we traded pawns. And now I started thinking, and I was thinking and thinking and thinking, and then my head started to hurt. I was thinking, if I attack his knight, see how it's attacked? He'll take my knight, defending his knight. I'll take his bishop, and now he'll play the craziest move ever, like knight here, attacking my queen, so forth, and attacking my rook. And I was getting confused. Okay, so instead I played B5, attacking his bishop, but he saw it. And then I thought about it again, but I was getting confused again, because this is attacked, and this is attacked, and this is attacked. And I was like, Okay, so I didn't do that. I played bishop E6. Now, black has an advantage here. First of all, this is all the same, right? Two bishops, okay. So what are the differences? My rook's on an open line, his rook's not so good. My knight's all up in his grill, and his knight can't move. His knight can't move to any of these squares, because he'll just lose his knight. Okay, and they can't go here or here because there's pieces there. So his knight can't really move, and my knight's great. My rook is awesome. And this pawn I can attack, which I did. This pawn's defended by a pawn. So black has a lot of advantages. Okay, he played rook e1, and I played bishop d6. And when I played bishop d6, after the game he said, why did you play bishop d6? And the reason I played it, he stopped by accident. Why did my opponents make good moves by accident? I wanted to play queen e7, and my queen and bishop attack his pawn, and there's no defense. He can't defend his pawn. But he actually defended his pawn anyway without seeing my threat. He played knight d1, and now if I attack his pawn, he can play c3 and defend his pawn. Wasn't that lucky of him? Okay, so I played rook to a2, attacking his pawn, but he saw it. Okay, then I played f5, hooray! And now I'm winning. Because I got everything attacking him. Here, and here, and here. And his pieces are all trapped. They can't move. Knight's on d1. Anyway, there's a saying in chess, you want your rook on the 7th rank. Because then your rook is attacking everything. My rook's on the 7th rank, so it's attacking everything. He didn't like my rook on the 7th rank. So he called over the director, and Mike Kummer was the director, and he was like, no rooks on the 7th rank. Okay, so he played rook to b2, so we could trade rooks, also known as Barney chess. I take you, you take me, you're the worst player in history. Okay, but I didn't take his rook, I took his pawn. Who's the quietest? All right, now, you see I took his pawn? Did he take my rook? No, because then he'd be the worst player. Yeah, I take his queen. Okay, so he took with the queen, and I took his rook, and now he played a crazy move. Some would say Matt Barrett is crazy. Nice. All right. I'd like to get that in there. After the move rook takes rook, what would you play with white? Yeah. Sorry, you would take it with a knight like everybody else in the world. Right. He didn't do that. Yay. And he's my student. Okay, so he knew if he took with a rook, he was losing, so he played a different losing move that lost even more. If he takes with a rook, I have two ways to win. I was going to play bishop f5, Where does the queen go to safety?
Nowhere.
One safe square. Martin? F3. Then E4. Where does the queen go to safety? Martin? Queen G3. Now knight takes check and bishop takes queen. So that wasn't too safe, was it? That's what I was going to play. The computer wants me to play bishop D5 and says it's even better, and then attack over here. Okay, either way is good. So my opponent played bishop takes knight instead of taking my rook. I played rook takes bishop. Now, if you're good at counting, and you're not, but if you were, you would notice black is up a rook. And for nothing, not even a pawn. Nothing. I got an extra rook. Okay, so he thought he'll get 2 rooks, for his queen. So he took that rook, and then he was going to take this rook. But I played rook takes bishop. Now I'm threatening, well, let's have a look. I'm threatening rook takes rook mate. That's a good move. And I'm threatening pawn takes queen. And now he did what any good player would do. Yeah, he gave up. The best he could do is take my rook and take, or I could blunder that, take his queen, and then I have a queen for a rook. And his knight's not so good. Okay, so instead he gave up. He could claim a draw, but that doesn't work. That only works with your friends. Okay. All right, so I won, hooray. Then I had to play the infamous James McLaughlin. Is it set up good? Okay. Although I have to flip the board. That was the game I played last night. Okay. And today I'm taking buys because I'm teaching these classes. So I had to win this game if I want to win any prize money. And I do want to win prize money. Okay, so I was white, and my opponent's rated 2100. But before you were born, he was rated 2300. Okay, his rating went down. All right, so I'm white, and we played your favorite opening, the Nimzo-Indian, named after which grandmaster?
Nimzo-Indian?
That was his name, Nimzo-Indian. You know, funny name? No. Okay, his name is Aaron Nimzovich. Okay, we could look him up on the internet, but that would waste valuable seconds. Okay, Nimzovich wrote a very famous book. Let's see if Ben Simon knows the title.
My System.
Very good. He pulled it out of the back of his head somewhere. Yeah, it's called My System. If you can't sleep one night, you have insomnia, you could read that, you fall right to sleep. Bam. You'll be like, I couldn't sleep last night. Nothing worked. I counted sheep, I counted rooks. Then if you read My System, you fall right asleep. Okay? Well, it's not the most exciting book. It's a chess book explaining his ideas. And you're like, ah. Okay, so I played Queen C2 because that's what I do. Now, when I was your age, except older, about 14, 15, I had a t-shirt and it said Queen C2 exclamation point. Okay? Because I like to play Queen C2 here. Okay, my opponent played D5 and we traded pawns. And I played bishop G5 and he attacked my bishop. Now, you can take the knight or go back. I've done both, but not at the same time. I retreated. He played C5 and I took it. Now he made a very unusual move. If you look at a chess database, there'll be about 1,000 games in this position, with Garry Kasparov having white in several of them. And everybody plays G5 attacking the bishop. My opponent played bishop E6. I didn't know that move, so I was confused. Okay, where did I move my bishop?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. So I played E3. Now I can move it somewhere. He played knight D7. I pinned his knight. Now both of his knights are pinned. Let's see who the smartest is. What kind of pin is that? And what kind of pin is that? Right, relative is the green one, absolute is the red one. Absolute means the computer won't let me move it because it's illegal. Relative means it'll let me move it and then you lose your queen. Sort of like when I'm playing you kids. Okay, so now my opponent thought forever and he played G5, thought about 10 minutes I would say. I moved my bishop. And now he played a very sneaky move. Remember how this is an absolute pin? this is also an absolute pin. So he played queen a5, and if I go, let's develop some pieces, then I lose a bishop for nothing because my knight's pinned. Also, he would call the director, and the director would say, what's the problem? And he would say, my opponent's going do. Okay. Actually, that's based on a true story.
What? Really?
Yeah, my son was a director of a kids tournament, like you kids. And there were like 500 of them. So like 500 times worse than you. And then the kids raised their hand when they wanted a director. And my son came over and said, yeah. And he said, my opponent keeps going, That was his complaint. Yeah.
Those are easy to resolve.
Yeah, my son's like, what? Okay, so yeah, when Anish Giri's playing MVL, he's like, my opponent is making French noises. Okay, so now I save my bishop, bishop takes knight, and he took back, and I played knight e2. Rook c8, I castled, and he took my knight, and he took my pawn. Okay, this is the first interesting position. If you count everything, you'll notice we have the same things. We both have a king, we both have a queen, we both have two rooks, we both have a bishop and a knight, and we both have 6 pawns. Fortunately, my pawns are awesome. My pawns are all together, my king is safe. His pawns, it looks like he's playing an accordion over here. He's got a lot of holes in the position. He's got no control of the dark squares, even though he played g5. And this pawn is weak. It has a name. Isolated. So he has a lot of problems. And some of them are chess problems. Now, if it was his turn to move, he would play knight e4, and my knight's attacked 400 times and pinned. So I played queen d2. This is a very tricky move. He plays knight e4 now, that would be a blunder. I would take it. If he takes back, I win his queen. If he doesn't take back and takes my queen, I take back and I'm up a free knight. So did he play knight e4 and lose a knight? No, he thought forever and played queen b4. Okay, now he could play knight e4 next move because his queen protects it. I played bishop e5 attacking his rook, and he made a move that will surprise you. Because you'll be surprised that it's legal. This is the knights class. Still 14-7?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What move did he make that looks illegal, but it's not? It looks illegal.
You made the move.
I'll give you a hint. I've already done it. He castled. So even though his rook's attacked, he castled, confusing some of the kids. Okay? I didn't show this game to the 1 o'clock kids because they would just be on the floor crying. They would be like, the rook was attacked, he can't castle, and then they'd start crying. Okay. All right, and now, if I don't make a move, let's make a random move. He plays knight e4, I take, and he takes to the queen. So I stopped all that. I played bishop to d4. Now if he plays knight e4, he can't take with the queen because he can't jump over my bishop. So he just loses a knight then. So he played knight a4. And now I thought forever. I thought about 10 minutes here, and I played rook to d1, defending my queen, and we traded knights. And now I want to play queen d4 and checkmate. Hooray! But he played queen e4, so if I play queen d4, he'll just take it. I played f3, and he must have thought he was MVL because he retreated like a Frenchman. So queen h7, and now that's a very silly queen, but it makes it really hard for me to checkmate him. Okay? So queen d4, am I threatening mate? No, but I'm threatening this pawn over here. So he defended it, and I put my queen in here, and he didn't like my queen in there. He's like, man, that queen's in there. If he attacks my queen, I'll checkmate him. So he didn't do that. He played rook c6 to kick out my queen, and he kicked out my queen. Then I attacked his pawn, and then I did a spoon. I mean a knife. I mean chopsticks. I mean, what do I mean? A fork. I played queen a4, forking his rook and his pawn. Is anybody smart enough to defend both of them? How do you save them both? In the corner.
RC7.
You're also in the corner, but he's more in the corner. You threw your voice good.
Rook to C7.
Right. And that's what he did. Then I attacked his rook again with my bishop. He saved his rook. And then there's this nice open C file nobody has, except I have it now. Rook C1. So my bishop's better than his. My queen's better than his. I have the dominating rook. His king is open. And he has an isolated pawn. So white's better. Okay, rook C1. Of course. He attacked my bishop, but I saw it. Then I doubled on the open file. Hooray for me. And then I went to attack. Hooray. And he played G4. He couldn't take it anymore. Okay, and then I took the F file. Yay. Okay, now I played A5 and traded pawns. He has 4 isolated pawns, the world's record. Okay, and also my bishop is beautiful in the center. And also, his king has a lot of open space in front of it. My king's pretty safe. Also, my rooks are on this weak pawn, and his rook is defending the pawn. So white has 1,000 advantages. Okay, I played rook F4, so this pawn could never move. And then I took the file again. He attacked my queen. I attacked his pawn again. He defended it. And now that his bishop and queen are defending his pawn, he blocked his rook. So my rook was like, thank you very much. And he attacked my rook, but I saw it. Okay, now the computer said this was the only move of the game it didn't like. The computer wants me to sacrifice all my pieces. Okay, so I played rook A7 and I won the game in one more move. So it must be okay. But the computer's like, why didn't you take this pawn? Let's analyze. Okay, he can take either one of my rooks, right?
Yeah.
But I win if he does either one. If he takes this rook, I go check. If he trades rooks, that's checkmate. And if he doesn't trade rooks, then I'm threatening queen takes pawn mate and queen F7 mate. And rook G7 is going to be mate. And I'm up a pawn. So it doesn't like this for him. Question.
What's the other way?
Yeah, he gave up his king to move bishop to C6.
Then he's down a queen. Okay. The other move he can play is bishop takes this rook. Now I take with check. What does he do?
He cries.
He has to go back to G8. Now the computer wants me to take this rook, I think, and then take this with check. And then it says I'm winning. But I'm not going to do this. That's crazy. So instead, I won even quicker by playing a worse move. I played rook A7, and now he blundered because he had 30 seconds on his clock, and I had about an hour. Because I was trying to watch this football game. I'm not sure why.
Oh, and it's 7:21.
So notice all my pieces are good, and my king is safe, and all his pieces are bad, and his king's not safe. Especially his bishop. My bishop is really good. His bishop is like trapped behind his pawns. So usually, not always, when somebody's crushing you and they're dominating and they're all up in your grill, you want to trade pieces. Then if there's no pieces on the board, they won't beat you. So he was like, man, this rook on the 7th, that's annoying. Okay? Just like my last rook on the 7th against Matt Barrett. So he played bishop e6, and he wanted to trade rooks. He's like, rook takes rook, queen takes rook, or bishop f7. Queen takes rook, or we could start over. Or we could go in fast motion. Okay, you have to wave your hand to do that. Okay. Yeah, all right. So in this position, that wasn't as fast as I thought. Okay, so after rook a7, he played bishop to e6. Okay, now bishop e6 is the losing move because he's overworked. Okay, so his queen is defending his rook, as we saw in the previous variation. If only his queen wasn't defending his rook, then I could take his rook for free. How could I do that? How could I raise my hand? You. Incorrect. You. Yeah, give me the move. Even with this pawn here?
Yes.
You mean no? Then his pawn would take and I would cry. You with the non-crying answer. Incorrect.
Bishop E5.
Where?
Bishop E5.
Right. That's two tactics in one. So you got to pay double. Bishop E5. That's getting his queen off of his rook, decoy, deflection, and it's a skewer. So actually, if he wants to, he can save his rook. He can move his queen here, but then he loses that rook. So I'm attacking both of his rooks and his queen. Now in this position, if I play bishop E5, he can take with his queen. But he played bishop E6, so now if he takes with his queen, his rook's not defended. So bishop E6 was a mistake, which was punished by bishop E5. And now he did what any chess master would do. Yeah, he gave up. The correct move is to take. I take check, and the computer says I'm +7. That means the computer likes white. Because +7 is like 7 pawns up. Because, yeah, so I'm sort of like the Rams, 21-7. Yeah. This would be white winning 21-7. So that was a game that I played last night. And then I took buys today to teach you, and he played this morning and he crushed his opponent. See how much he learned from this game? Right? So even though he lost, he learned a lot, so he was happy he lost, right?
No.
Nah. Now, he didn't cry that much. He waited until he got home to cry. Yeah. He held it in good. Yeah. All right, so those were my games yesterday, and I was fortuitous. That means lucky, especially if you see Tombstone, right? Now you're too young for that joke.